Dr.MGR Educational and Research Institute, Madurai, Chennai. Dr.MGR Educational and Research Institute, Madurai, Chennai.
Vigneswari, you just check whether madam has joined, Malini madam.
Yes, ma'am. Checking.
Not at join, ma'am.
Ma'am, Malini madam has joined.
Not yet joined, ma'am.
I called her. She's telling I am trying. I am unable to join.
Okay.
Phenomenology. 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 Phenomenology.
Geeta ma'am. Geeta ma'am. She is not yet joined, ma'am.
Ma'am, we'll start. She said she told me to mail the link again. She'll be joining you. Just start. We'll start.
Knowledge is so powerful as it can shape our career, make us successful, and help us overcome hurdles in our life. Knowledge is the most valuable skill a human can acquire. I welcome one and all present here to this wonderful session, the second day of Virtual International Faculty Development Program on Research Methodology, organized by the Faculty of Education in association with Academic Staff College. I welcome Dr. Malini Pandey, ma'am, Additional Registrar, Planning and Development, Dr.MGR Educational and Research Institute to the virtual International Faculty Development Program. I now request Dr. Malini Pandey ma'am to deliver the keynote address.
Sheila, ma'am will join in between. You continue with further, ma.
I now call upon Ms. L. Maria Suganti ma'am, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute, to introduce the speaker of this session.
Thank you, Sheila. A warm afternoon to one and all present here. It's my immense pleasure to introduce the guest speaker of the session, Mr. R. Vivekananda Rasa, Lecturer, Department of Secondary and Tertiary Education, Faculty of Education, the Open University of Sri Lanka. His interested research areas are educational management and leadership, online teaching learning, special needs education, and child rights. He has worked in various institutions like Advanced Technology Institute, Batikola, eSoft Metro Campus in Batikola, and in Vocational Training Authority. He has acted as a resource person in 40 plus national and international level conferences and workshops. He has been a peer reviewer for the international journal article like International Research Journal of Science, Technology, Education and Management, Journal of Educational Research in Developing Areas, Flourish Gate Global Consult. He has acted as a panelist in 7 international conferences. He has attended more than 30 plus international workshops and conferences, a renowned person with a good reputation in his research profile. He has published more than 10 papers in reputed journal publications, and he has authored a book chapter and 5 articles. He has possessed various academic roles like faculty board member, coordinator for the postgraduate diploma in education program and child rights. He is the recipient of the following awards: Best Lecturer, Sri Lanka in International Edu Icon Award Ceremony in 2021, Academic Excellence Award in 2nd Digital Education Summit, Research Leadership Award in an International Virtual Conferences in Athens, Greece in 2021. It's a great privilege to have such a renowned person amidst us. I'm immensely pleased to welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Maria Suganti ma'am, for your elaborate introduction. Welcome, sir. Please accept a virtual bouquet, sir.
Thank you very
Sir,
much.
welcome you, sir. Welcome you. I welcome all the participants. Once again, you check whether Malini Pandey madam has joined.
Not yet, ma'am. Just now I checked.
Okay, sir. We'll start, sir. We'll start.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Now you can take up the session, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So once again, I think this is my second time for this international conference with Dr.MGR University. So I'm very happy under the prevailing crisis in Sri Lanka. I'm very happy to join with you all and to see my neighboring country, India. So one of the best country in helping hand to my country in all the ways. So thank you very much, everyone. So thank you, ma'am. And thank you for the introduction about me. So about my profile and some other things. So with this all information and the things, I think considering the time limitation, I can start my presentation. So today's topic, the second day of this international conference. So before that, I have to thank all of you, the Dr.MGR University, especially to Geeta ma'am and other professors and doctors and other all participants, the professors who are joining from other universities, all the academicians and all the participants, all the education related officials, everyone from India, some other countries. Thank you very much. So with that, so now let me to share my presentation. So based on the topic that I have selected today to discuss with you all, so it's a very nice and a very interesting topic. So let me. So can you all see my presentation, madam?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. If anything in my slides or anything, you can just inform me. I can make the correction. Okay, thank you very
Sure,
much.
sir.
Right, yeah, thank you. So today's topic, the qualitative analysis in the research. So it is mentioned as a qualitative analysis. So that I have put in research, the qualitative analysis. So I don't need to tell about me, you know that I'm R. Vivekananda as a lecturer, Faculty of Education, the Open University of Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka, this is my email address. You can contact me if anything. So the outline of the presentation, what I'm going to discuss with you all today. So you know the research is something very important in this world. So without research, so nothing can be found, you know. So normally we can take a decision like through research only we can find new things. So innovativeness, that I have to emphasize the word innovative. The innovativeness will be achieved through good research. So for the good research, there are something to be considered, to be uh, to be uh, be aware of when we do the research. So based on that, the topic that I have selected, the qualitative approach or a qualitative analysis in the research. So when I talk about this qualitative analysis and a qualitative analysis in research, so we have to think, we have to know something about research, and so what are the different approaches, and you know that there are different areas, you know, that different fields of different sectors, even science related, social science related, religious related. There are different fields of, there are different categorization in different areas. So based on that, the research methods or research approaches so have been used by many researchers based on their needs and wants, based on their purpose of the research. So with these all ideas, so the outline of the presentation today, what I am going to mainly talk about this on the topic that I have selected, different approaches in research, and what is qualitative approach, what is qualitative, why is qualitative approach is important, and the analysis for qualitative research. You know that quality research will lead to the quality education. So quality education, how we can achieve the concept quality education, so targeting, so to reach out, so before the year 2030. Anyway, some circumstances, unavoidable reasons in the around the world, like COVID, the current economic crisis in some of the countries around the world. So it is something challengeable to achieve this concept, quality education. Sustainable level goal number 4 was introduced by UN. Anyway, we are taking effort. The people are taking academician and the old educational officials or academics, professor, and everyone in this world are trying to make education quality. To make education quality, we have to do good research, quality research. So to do the quality research, so what are the approaches, what are the techniques, what are the ideas that we have to we have to take into mind when we do research. So that's my idea regarding this sustainable development goal. So we are telling that the quality education should be reached, so within certain time of certain time in this world. But how can we reach out this concept quality education? To reach out this concept quality education, goal number 4, quality research is one thing. What are the things that we have to consider when we do quality research? That's my point today. So according to Charles Manning's child, he once mentioned that do experimental work, but keep in mind that other investigators in the same field will consider your discovery as less than 1/4 as important as they seem to you. So famous zoologist, American zoologist. But he mentioned, though we are giving more prominence or more important for quantitative approach or quantitative data, we have to consider other investigators, and other investigators, what he mentioned, the qualitative and the qualitative related research approaches. You know, all the scientists, science related people, even, so we can list out the many scientists around the world. They almost focused on scientific research based on that quantitative approach, even experimental research. But though we are doing experimental researchers, we have to think about the other investigators. He mentioned through that word, other investigators. So the qualitative approach is one. Without qualitative approach, we cannot do any research, even we cannot assume anything, we cannot come to the point, because qualitative, you know, that something related with our feelings and our ideas, investigations, our perception, our assumption, these all will come under qualitative approach. So what does research seek? You know, the main point, research is seeking reality. How we are going to find the reality? Through doing research. That may be any areas, even science or maths or any field. We can select any field, social science field or religious aesthetic studies, or maybe science related area, any areas. We are seeking reality through research. When we seek reality, we have to concern about the research paradigm. You know, the research paradigm is very important to seek and to find the reality through research. Right. So what does it mean by research paradigms? So there are three main concepts under research paradigms. Those are ontology, epistemology, research methodology. Today I'm going to discuss about the qualitative approach under this research methodology. So ontology, epistemology, something related with research. So it is a concept relating to the area of philosophy or some sociological concept. Though we are using in research also, because research is trying to find the reality. So ontology and epistemology is completely connected with the reality. You know, the philosophy means reality. We are trying to find the reality. That is the philosophy. That's why these two concepts, ontology and epistemology, is connected with the reality. What is ontology? Ontology definitely tells the answer for the question, what is reality? The main concept. That is, does a single reality exist within a research, your research? Is there a reality? If there are some types of questions in your research, when you do research, if you ask these types of questions, what is the reality in my research? What would be the beneficial point, the benefited things in my research? That will come under this term ontology. For example, you know, that question would be that, does God exist? There are two possible answers for the realities in response to the question, yes, God exists, or people say, no, God does not exist. So that will seek the reality whether God exists or not, that may be something we cannot guess. But anyway, that type of questions when we do research or experiment will come under this concept of ontology. So epistemology also same as ontology. It is something related with the study of knowledge, and it answers the question, how is it possible to know the reality? Ontology definitely trying to find the reality. Epistemology trying the ways to find the reality. Epistemology incorporates the validity parameters and the methods of acquiring the knowledge. So epistemology is completely connected with the concept knowledge. So you know the knowledge will try to find the ways how we can find the reality under different concept or different areas when we do research also. For example, how is it possible to know whether God exists or not? Yeah, that's the question. The epistemology types of question. How is it possible whether my research or my study is practicable or valuable for the society or anything? That types of question will come under this term epistemology under research paradigms. So the very important concept in doing the research methodology. You know, the methodology answer the question, how do we go about discovering the answer or reality? The way, the movement people are taking to do research, even methodology, not only research, even any types of activity, we need some methodology. Even, you know, even teaching also, we are following some different various methodologies. This include the process of data collection and analysis. These both are very important. The data collection and analysis, the part of research. Research methodology should outline how you conduct your research and demonstrate the findings are valid. So this is very important. Methodology should tell, through good methodology, we should try to prove that how my researches are valid to the society. That's the main point of using methodology in doing the research. You know, I think you can read this paradigm tree. It is called a paradigm tree, or you can say this a research methodology tree. In doing research, you know, methodology, epistemology, ontology. These are the most important concepts that we should understand before doing research. Now, almost 60% of people are trying to do research without seeking the knowledge, seeking the idea reality. What is the reality of the research? They focus on some other certain things, you know, income related ideas or promotion related. They focus on that, but there is no reality. They are repeating the ideas. Even the plagiarism is the major issue in doing the research. That's a concept. So if I really tries to find the ontology and epistemology and methodology concept in research, my research will be valid to everyone. My research will teach some lesson to people. My research will be real one, will find the reality based on the topic or ideas that I have selected. So with the paradigm tree, you know, if we think about the research methodology, there are two main concepts under the research methodology. We have to learn about that. We have to know about that method and approach. So method will tell how we are going to do the things. You know, what are the ideas that we are going to use to do some certain task or certain activities. Even when we think about the research, how we are going to do the research, what are the techniques that we are going to use. When methods says the ideas or the techniques, then approach will tell. So what are the techniques or mean how we are going to use that in what approaches? What are the approaches that we are going to use to find the findings or the main ideas of doing the research? So under research methodology, we should know the method and approach, the two main concepts. What is method? Method will tell so how we are going to do it, how we are going to do the research, what are the special ideas and the techniques that we are going to use. The approach will make the methods into practical. That's the main point of this approach. So you know that if you think about research and methods, there are two main concepts. So one is our main topic today, that is qualitative and the quantitative. So qualitative and quantitative are the two main approaches. In research methodology, it will come under the method and approach. Even a qualitative method or quantitative method, a qualitative approach or quantitative approach, we can say, when we do research, when we try to find new ideas in doing the research. So with that, you know, we as people, you know, that we are living in the 21st century. Now we have totally moved to the conceptual age, you know, the conceptual era. Now we are not in the information age. Information age is something we have passed. We have come from that information age, because that is something related with the 20th century. Though we are using the ideas, the techniques or the concepts of information age, but now we are living in the conceptual age. So what does it mean, conceptual age? Conceptual age make people creators and emphasizers. When conceptual age tries to make people creators and emphasizers, so the ideas of qualitative and quantitative techniques or the research related ideas will help in an important way, you know. Right. Under this conceptual age, you know, the qualitative ideas are very important, because it makes us to think, to improve our critical thinking, and something related empathy and the feelings related ideas, everything will come under this conceptual age. So as we are now in the 21st century age, conceptual age, we have to almost focus on this focus on the concept qualitative approach or qualitative method in doing the research or in any related fields or any related activity. So quality, you know, when we talk about something or someone, we are considering the quality. Even when we buy a small thing in a shop or in a shop, you know, we almost focus on the quality. Looking at the quality only, we decide whether it is good or not. So how we give importance to the concept quality in day-to-day life for everything in our activity, in our day-to-day activities, like that the qualitative data analysis or the qualitative approach also in research plays a major role in finding the reality of the research. So you know that when we define the term quality, so quality itself has been defined as a fundamentally relational. Quality is the ongoing process of building and sustaining a relationship by assessing, anticipating, and fulfilling stated and implied needs. So how it is related with with the things, with the ideas of assessing, anticipating, and fulfilling, and stated and implied needs. So it is really practicable, and it's related the practice of people and the needs and wants of people. So with that, the difference between bad research and good research might depend on the researcher's graph of the research methodology. How a particular researcher is going to use their research methodology that will create the research, whether it is good or bad. That means bad means not good research. You see the cartoon also, it clearly explains the ideas about good research and bad research, how we find whether the research, the ways of doing the research or the methodology that we are using the research is good or not good. So here it says, that don't worry, why with only one source, the speech might be plagiarism. With only one source. Using two or more, it is research. That's the idea. That's the main idea. So the sources should be two or more. To get two or more sources, we have to depend on the approaches and the methods that we have already mentioned, that qualitative and quantitative approaches and the methods. For conducting data analysis, when we do the research, for any area, it is also mandatory to have the right methodology, the correct methodology. So methodology, as I explained in the previous slide, academic subjects require a methodology, how research should proceed. To reach their conclusion, they must establish ways of obtaining relevant data or information and analyzing those data. So the methodology will, I told you that the research paradigm, the methodology is a very main part, because the ontology and the epistemology directly related with the philosophical concept and the sociological concept. But the methodology will completely tell about the ways of research and the approaches that we are going to use in doing the research. So that's why the research is almost connected with achieving the conclusion, achieving the main ideas of the research. There is no general agreement among social scientists what is the most effective method of sociological research. Even no, we almost the more than 70% of research are doing in the area, in the field of sociology. Sociology means the sociological areas. Even we are focusing on the science related areas, because science, that is something different, almost focusing on the experimental ideas, experiment. But where we are going to use the fullest and the complete ideas of the research when we do research in the area of sociology, in sociological fields. Methods refers to under the research methodology, the method is a part. I told you the method and the approach are the two main parts and the methodology. So according to that, in research methodology, there are three main approaches that we are using in doing the research. The first approach is the research, or you can say the research approach or the research analysis way, quantitative. What does it mean quantitative? Quantity that comes in number, that comes in digits, or anyway we can say in numbers. Those who advocated the use of scientific and usually quantitative methods, the numerical statistical method, that is something related with quantitative research. right? The people who are doing the quantitative research, we can say the positivist idea, positivism, the thinking of positivism. The second approach is the qualitative research or qualitative approach. Those who supported the use of more humanistic, not scientific, humanistic and qualitative methods, interpretive sociology or phenomenology. These ideas will come under this qualitative. We just measure the quality of people or quality of ideas or quality of actions that will come under this concept or the approach qualitative. So what happened nowadays, you know that we are using that quantitative and qualitative, both the research approaches or both research methods in research, in doing research. That is called as a mixed research, mixed method approach. So mixed method means the mixed research means that we are using the qualitative and quantitative approach both. In even some sociological concept, even you know that if you think about the economics related researches, the finance related, when you think about the economic related researches, we are almost depending on the quantitative ideas, and also we are focusing on the qualitative. When we deal with the people, we have to use the qualitative. When we advocate the previous statistical ideas or the statistical formats and everything, we depend on the quantitative approach in doing the research in the economy or any management related areas. So these are the main research approaches that we are using in doing the research. Now our main focus is the qualitative research and the qualitative analysis. What is qualitative research? Why we use qualitative research in doing the research? The qualitative approach. That's the main point. You know the research method, under research method, as I mentioned, a qualitative and quantitative, there are two approaches, two methods, two approaches. So under qualitative, you know, what are the approaches, what are the methods of data collection, what are the analysis, the ways of analysis that we are going to use. So it will be some qualitative related, maybe case studies, or I will explain that one by one. When you think about the quantitative, it is, as I mentioned you, that it is related with some numerical ideas, something related, science related things, the experiment, the ideas that we are collecting and that we are getting from the other resources in numbers or in digits. So that will come under this quantitative. This image clearly explains about that qualitative and quantitative. What are the specific analysis, ways of analysis that we are using in qualitative and quantitative methods. So what is qualitative research? When we think about the qualitative research, now we are going to focus on the concept qualitative research, a qualitative approach. So qualitative research gathers more detail or information from a smaller number of respondents. The focus is on the experience of people and the meaning given to such experiences. So why we are giving more focus on the experience? You know, the qualitative ideas, that data that we are gathering or that we are getting through qualitative approach, so will be almost focused on the experiences or the practical incidents, practical activities, how we perceive the ideas from the practical things, and how we are getting the ideas. So that is related with this qualitative research or qualitative approach. Right? We are using a smaller number of respondents, but we are getting the more valuable ideas. So with the concept of experience, as we are putting more focus on the concept experiences, or any as I mentioned you that the practical phenomena, the practical things. So the qualitative, how we do the qualitative research, you all are, you are doing the research day to day, every day, and the research is a main part of the life. Every day we are doing the research and collecting the data and doing the analysis, something. So that qualitative research has some process in doing the research, the qualitative approach. First we gather the ideas based on the topic or based on the area that we have selected. After that, we just go for a literature review. We do some literature review according to our research, the research topic, the recent studies or the recent findings that we are collecting. And with the literature review, we are formulating, with the ideas of literature review, we are formulating the research questions or the hypothesis. Okay. The literature review is very important in formulating the research questions. And also when we analyze the research questions, then we select a design, what type of design we are going to choose in doing the research using the qualitative approach. Then we go for a data collection. That may be any methods, the ways of data collection. Then we do the analysis, how we are going to do the analysis, and then finally dissemination. We come to the reality. If it is a good research, the dissemination will be a good reality. If it is a bad research, no, we cannot say that it is bad research or good research. So the reality will show us whether the research is good or bad. The reality means the idea. So Denson and Lincoln 2011 claimed that the qualitative research involves an interpretive and naturalistic approach. This means that qualitative researchers study things in their natural settings and attempting to make sense of or to interpret phenomena in terms of the meanings people bring to them. Right. So what they mentioned, both of them, the qualitative research is something related with the realistic and the natural. We do the studies in the natural settings, not like quantitative approaches. If you think about the experiment can be done within a laboratory. So we don't need a natural setting. No? Scientists are doing the experiment with a limited area or with a limited room. Even you think the history of the scientific research, that many scientists, they proved they invented many science related instruments or ideas, or so within the setting was very small. But when you go for a qualitative research study or approach or research, the setting will be the naturalistic, or the setting will be very broad. We can explain the example for that qualitative approach and the setting also. That some for example, when you think about the ethnography, the ethnographical studies or the ethnography is one of the qualitative data analysis tool. When we collect the data, we use the ethnographical approach. So, ethnography, we have to move away from our place and we have to collect the data from the people, involving with them and making good familiarity and good linkage with the people. Then only the data will be very effective and it will be good for a research, but not the quantitative data or quantitative research or approaches are not like. We don't, the natural setting is very limited. That's a point here according to Denson and the Lincoln. So qualitative approach is not only about methods of research, but also about writing. Writing is very important in doing the research. So qualitative approach will improve our writing skill. We have to write when we do the when we do qualitative types of researchers, when we do qualitative approaches in doing the researchers, so we have to improve our writing skill, writing, because all qualitative research almost depend on writing. The quantitative, when you do the scientific related research, you can prove the ideas or you can prove the truth. So within a short time, doing a small experiment or doing a sample presentation or like something. But qualitative research is not like that. You have to write. It will improve your writing. That's the writing, ethnographics, historiographics, etc. becomes an integral part of the overall research process. This does not deny the association of writing with the quantitative research. However, we can take for granted that over time, writing has come to more centrally associated with the qualitative research. And this has become even more important in the fields like social anthropology since the late 1960s. Right? So you see the picture. So when you find the when you try to explain elephant, the animal elephant, so everyone look at the elephant's view or the elephant's the parts in a different way. We explain it as in a different ways. In that way, we do the qualitative research approaches. We are focusing on different ideas, different concepts, different perceptions. So that we come to a conclusion. So qualitative research as a process, there are three main ideas that we have to give more prominence. The first one is theory and the method and the analysis. All three interconnect of define the quality research process. These all three interconnect. The theory we use in qualitative research, the method that we use in qualitative research, the analysis that we use in qualitative research. These are the main three things in doing the qualitative research as a process. So, qualitative information, qualitative information or qualitative data are usually presented in words, not numerical form, They may be a description of a group of people engaging in politics or providing a full and in-depth account of the political act. Compared to quantitative data represent a true picture of a way of life, of people's experiences, attitudes, and beliefs. So it gives a true picture relating the people's related ideas, feelings, attitudes, experiments, experiences, beliefs. This all will come under this qualitative data or qualitative information when we do the qualitative research. Reason for conducting qualitative research. So we can say the reason for using the qualitative approach. So you can read one by one. So considering the time limitation also, I will go just a little, I will go a little fast. So to engage in qualitative inquiry, that's one main reason for doing the qualitative research. So we are engaging in an inquiry, qualitative inquiry. There is a need first whether a strong rationale exists for choosing a qualitative approach. The following reason could call for a qualitative inquiry. So why we are doing a qualitative inquiry in doing the qualitative research or doing in using the qualitative approach? Based on the reason here I have listed. The first one, the topics that need to be explored. To be explored, we need qualitative inquiry. Need to present a detailed view of the topic. To present the detailed view of the topic, we need a qualitative inquiry. That's why we are doing the qualitative research, qualitative approach. So these are the main points why we use qualitative inquiry in doing the qualitative research. Right. Then, right, it continuously comes, the other points also. The reason, okay. So the other part is what I want to tell you, that the characteristics of good qualitative research. So there are standards for assessing the quality of qualitative studies. The following short list of characteristics of a good qualitative research is presented by Creswell in 1998. He listed out some important points to explain the characteristics of a good qualitative research. The first characteristic is it entails a rigorous data collection. You know, through qualitative approach of the qualitative research, we can get a rigorous data collection. What does it mean, the rigorous data collection? The researcher collects multiple forms of data, and the researcher summarizes them adequately and spends adequate time in the field also. Multiple type of data, spending the adequate time to collect the data. That is a rigorous data collection. That is the main characteristic of this qualitative research, according to Creswell. The second point is the study is framed within the assumption and the characteristics of the qualitative approach to research. The assumption and the characteristic of qualitative approach. That's the second important point in to elicit the characteristic of qualitative research. Employs one or more tradition of inquiry. You know, the different tradition of inquiry when we do the qualitative research, when we use qualitative approach in research. That is also another important characteristic of doing a good qualitative research. So furthermore, you know, the researcher starts with a single idea or problem that seeks to understand or not a casual relationship of variables. Right? It's not a casual relationship of variables. It directly focuses on the idea or the problem that seeks to understand. That we are seeking to understand what is happening and what happened there. Why we are doing this research. So these all questions will be answered through the qualitative approaches. That's why that's the main characteristic also of qualitative research. The study involves detailed methods, a rigorous approach to data collection, data analysis, and report writing. The rigorous methods that we are using in qualitative research. And the writing is also persuasive, that the reader experiences being there. You know, I mentioned you, I told you that writing is a very important part in doing the qualitative. The data is analyzed using multiple level of abstraction. We are using multiple level of abstraction in analyzing the data. The writing is clear, engaging, and full of unexpected ideas. You know that when you think about the analysis, the data collection analysis, grounded theory, and the content analysis, grounded theory and content analysis, those are the main qualitative approach, qualitative analysis in gathering the data. So when we do the grounded theory or content analysis, we clearly engage and we get some unexpected ideas. Ethnographical studies or the ethnographical ideas in anthropology, we get. So qualitative data collection. So these are the main qualitative data collection. You can read. It is listed here. The primary methods of data collection in qualitative research, a qualitative approach, is participation in the setting, direct observation, in-depth interviewing, document review. These are the primary methods of data collection in qualitative research. The supplemental data collection techniques we use as supplemental narratives, life histories, case studies, focus group interviews, visual methods, proxemics, PRA. So these are the supplemental data collection method or techniques in qualitative data collection when we do qualitative research. So moreover, now I can discuss with you some data collection method in qualitative research. I'm not explaining everything. I will explain some primary data collection, giving prominence to that. Why I am giving prominence to this type of data collection method in qualitative research or qualitative approach, because we are almost using this type of data collection method in doing the qualitative research. Case study, you know, the case study is very one of the most data collection method, one of the important analysis in qualitative research, qualitative research. What case study says, the characteristic of the particular entity, phenomena, person, or setting. We are just trying to know the characteristics through the case studies. We are studying a case. That's an incident, you know. That's a case. We are studying the case. The case can be a phenomena or a phenomenon or a person related or setting related. That can be anything. It is anchored in real life. Case studies is anchored in real life. In-depth description. It is an in-depth description. Holistic description. Multiple data collection techniques. Bounded system. It is a bounded system. So these are the main characteristics of case studies when we do case study in qualitative research. You know, case study methods. So as I mentioned, the main characteristics of qualitative the case studies in qualitative research. So when we do the case study, we can use this type of methods. Involves small sample, lacks internal validity, and has limited applicability. Right? The case study method have this type of characteristics also. Multi-perceptive approach, can be exploratory or illustrative. Generally, explore unusual phenomena. These are the some characteristics or the special features of case study method in qualitative. The types of subject that involves in qualitative research, qualitative, that means case studies in qualitative research, we can study about a person, that is about the person, that will also come under this case study. Same time, group of people, same time, a location, organization, event. These are the main subjects of case studies. When we do case studies, we are focusing a person or a group or location, organization or event. There may be different techniques or different idea. People can use different techniques. Techniques can differ person to person. The teaching techniques differ from others. I have some certain teaching techniques that differing from others. Like that, the techniques they can use different techniques, but they are almost focusing on the subject, person or group or location or organization or event. These all subject will come under this case studies. So types of case study, there are two types of case studies, illustrative or exploratory. So illustrative case study, it will lead to the point, exemplifies. It will exemplify the idea, and the exploratory case, that it will discover something. These are the two types of case studies, illustrative and explorative. The another qualitative research data collection method or analysis, content analysis. What meaning? What does it mean by content analysis? Reflected in the, what is the meaning of what is reflected in the materials? We are just trying to find the reflection, the ideas of the things. That is content analysis. Almost the content analysis data collection method or analysis that is being used in the field of communication related studies. Communication studies, and describing the characteristic of the materials, the characteristics. As a person, the people can do a case about me, and also can involve with the content analysis also, no? So the things that I'm using, and my behavior and those things will come under this content analysis. But it is almost focused on the materials and the characteristics of materials, not people or not any group of people or not any person. Right? Okay, this is the way of content analysis. In this way, we can do the content analysis in qualitative research approach. What we will do first, we will do the data management. So from the data management, chunking of text and coding of chunks, then analysis of coding. Coding is very important point in the content analysis. Then it will become reports or paper or thesis. Then the research output will come to the society. Right? So from the data management, from the collection of data, in that way we are doing this content analysis in doing the research. Okay. Ethnographical studies, very important qualitative approach to data collection method or analysis. It is rooted in, the root cause is in the anthropology, and also the ethnographical studies mainly talks about the patterns and perspectives of a group in a setting. The people who are living in a setting, we just try to know the cultural patterns or the perspectives of the people through these ethnographical studies in qualitative research, right? It studies a naturally occurring behavior of people, how people behavior, focus on culture and social behavior, and data collection is primarily by participation and observation. The B is missing here. The participation and the observation is very important in this ethnographical studies in qualitative data analysis, qualitative research approach. You know, you can, when we think about the history, you know, some sociological studies were done through these ethnographical studies, some sociological concept. Right. So steps in conducting an ethnography, in this way we have to conduct ethnographical studies in qualitative research approach. First, step one, we have to identify intent and the type of design and relate intent your research problem. So we have to identify the research problem in the ethnographical studies, ethnographical method, then discuss how you plan to receive approval or gain access to study sites and participants. So how we are going to get the approval to involve with the participants. That's the second step. Third step, collect appropriate data, the process of data collection in the ethnographical studies. And the step 4 is analyze and interpret your data. We are just interpreting the data, and finally write a report or research. Maybe that may be a report or research or project in ethnographical studies. Okay. So this cartoon, this picture clearly explains about the ethnographical concept. When we do the ethnographical research, why, you know, tribes are always on the run. A person is looking at him, and without a moment's rest, he is always going work and work 15 hours a day, and then they sack you. It's not fair. Why should I be the lucky one? Something related the practical. Then he involves with the person activity, and finally he explained that properly, looking at the activity of the person between the two people in this cartoon, that explains very clearly how the ethnographical study happens in research. So Creswell, two approaches. Creswell explained about two approaches in ethnographical studies, the realist ethnography and critical ethnography. So these are the two main approaches. The realist ethnography, more traditional approach. It is more traditional. Researcher tries to provide objective account, often written in third person, factual information and quotes presented. The critical ethnography, you know that the second type, according to Creswell, the study of ethnography, study of marginalized groups. Researcher takes advocacy perspective, value learn orientation, attempts to challenge status quo empower. So these are the main two types of ethnography studies. So Creswell divided into two types. But we are, no, you know that we are not doing the ethnographical study, but people are doing the sociology, the field of sociology, in anthropology. People are doing. People are taking part with the society, in a site or in an environment setting. They are involving with the activity of the people. They are doing some researches. They are finding some new culture, the rights culture. Even African countries, you know. In Africa, the almost number of studies have been done using this ethnographical related concept, ethnographical analysis in African countries. Okay, the grounded theory, as I mentioned before, the grounded theory also is very important. One of qualitative research, data collection method or analysis. How is an inductively derived theory about a phenomenon grounded in the data in a particular setting? Right? It is rooted in sociology, and inductively build theory about a practice or phenomenon. We build a theory based, we through doing the research and through doing finding the data, we just try to build a theory. Right, from that phenomenon. So grounded in a real world, that's a grounded theory analysis in qualitative research. So this is the way of doing the grounded theory in qualitative research, right? You can see that if you want the PowerPoint presentation, I will share to Madam, so you can get it from Madam and you can use that if you need that. Right, you can see the structure. Considering the time also, I have to go a little faster. From the starting points, how we do the grounded theory. We choose a method or maybe interviews or any type, then transcribing, then memorizing. From the memorizing, we just come to the coding. After memorizing, we have to do the coding point. From the coding point, we develop a refined theory based on the analysis that we did, right? Then the theory will be known as the grounded theory, the concept grounded theory. Right? Phenomenological studies, also one of the qualitative research data collection method. It is almost used in the field of philosophy. It interprets meaning concerned with the essence of phenomena. It is focusing on a phenomena, like that ethnography, like ethnographical ideas, phenomena. Ethnography focusing on a setting where people are living, but a phenomenological study is not like a setting where people are living. It's like the activity or concept from the participants, right? So phenomenology, that phenomenology also is being done. The ideas of the researchers are being done in using the phenomenological ideas in this way. You can read that one by one. So there are altogether 8 steps in doing the phenomenological research analysis. So the data analysis, when we learn about that research methodology. Under research methodology, different approaches. The qualitative approach, we focused on qualitative approach. We collected data, how we can collect the data in qualitative approach. Then we have come to the point, data analysis. The data analysis can tell you what is happening, but it won't tell you why. Right? Data analysis telling you what is happening, but it will not tell you why. So qualitative data analysis must to bring together the two concepts, what and why. Right? This cartoon, that image also clearly tells about the data analysis. So what is qualitative data? Qualitative data is almost depend on the words, not number, not any numerical ideas. It is qualitative related, quality thinking, ideas, quality ideas, the words, right? Describing data that are non-numerical and capturing concept and opinion, values and behaviors of the people in a social context. Right? This is the introduction for this qualitative data in doing the research. So what is qualitative data analysis? In doing qualitative data analysis, not like scientific related studies or almost focusing on quantitative research, we are using different ideas in qualitative data analysis. You know, first of all, what we do, we organizing the data, then we interpreting the data, identifying a pattern, forming the basis for information and verifiable conclusion, then ties research objectives to the data. So that is the way of doing the qualitative analysis in doing the research, not like quantitative method. The analysis of qualitative data, it contains some important aspects, you know, that categorization. The categorization is very important in qualitative data analysis. We have to categorize the ideas or the data that we collected. How we are categorize it based on our research question or hypothesis, we have to categorize. Then unitizing the data. Unitizing also, we are in the segment level, we are dividing the dividing our data. Unitizing. After categorization, we are just doing the unitization, special focus. Then reorganizing the relationship and the developing the categorizes you are using to facilitate this. That is another step. Then finally developing and testing hypothesis to reach conclusion. That's the last step of doing the qualitative data analysis. From the categorization, unitizing data, and recognizing relationship and developing the categories you are using to facilitate this, and developing and testing hypothesis to reach conclusions. So tools for helping the data analysis, you know, what are the tools that we can use for helping the data analysis when we do the qualitative research or qualitative research ideas from the researchers. Summaries, we can use summaries as one of the data tool, one of the tool, and self memos and research diaries, because the data is going to be the qualitative. As data, all data we are collecting, as it is qualitative, we can use the written documents. We can save all the data in a written format as summaries or self memos or research diary. So these are the main tools of tools of data analysis in qualitative research. So all research ultimately has a qualitative grounding. That may be scientific research or any types of research. Ultimately, there is a qualitative grounding. According to Donald Campbell, he mentioned that whatever the research that we are doing, there is ultimately a qualitative grounding. That's a main point. So for your reading, you know that normally I'm referring these two books for doing researches, and maybe when I want to know some ideas about qualitative research, or when I teach my students, or for some other purposes in the research related, you can use these two books. So it is accessible in the website, or in the Google also. You can get the books, the PDF as PDF. So the recently published the 2016 one, the 5 ways of doing qualitative analysis and the qualitative research methods. These are the two good books that I am referring. If you want to get more ideas about qualitative research and the qualitative approaches in the research, you can refer. Just check typing the name of the book. You will get a e-copy from the internet. So with that, I hope I can bind up my presentation up to now. So I explained some ideas or some important ideas about about qualitative research. So you have learned something. So if you have any question, you can ask me. And so once again,
thank you very much, sir. Nice presentation. excellent presentation.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. In spite of your crisis in Sri Lanka, you have spared your time. Any questions, audience? You can ask him the questions. Vigneshwari, any questions are there in the chat box also? You just read out, no?
Dear participants, kindly raise your hands so that I can unmute your mic and you can speak to the guest.
It's time for question and answer session. Audience, please ask your doubts.
Mr. Arun Raj, you can speak now. Dear participants, if you have any queries, kindly raise your hands. Mr. Arun Raj have asked, explain about memo writing. Sir?
yeah, yes, ma'am. He's asking about.
Yeah, please explain about memo writing from
okay.
Mr. Arun Raj.
Yeah, memo writing, you know, that when we do the content analysis or the grounded theory, we can use the technique memo writing, like as I mentioned that among the tools, 3 tools of analyzing the qualitative data, summaries and writing dictionaries and the memo. So we can do the memo writing. You know, the what does it mean by doing the memo writing? When we involve with the people in collecting the data, so we can gather some information that we cannot keep it in mind permanently. Sometimes we can the information can be missed out and we can forget the messages or information. So we can take a note and in the way of writing a memo that we can use for a analysis later. That's the main purpose of writing the memo writing. You know, we are normally writing memo, but a short description regarding information or anything or meeting that we are writing, that's a memo. Like that, when we go for data collection in qualitative research, especially in the grounded theory or content analysis approaches, so we can do the the technique as a tool for memo writing to keep the information permanently for our data analysis. That's the purpose of memo writing in qualitative research analysis. Are you clear? Is it okay, ma'am?
I hope Arun Raj may be clear with this. Thank you, sir. Dear participants, if anyone is willing, kindly raise your hands. I hope you have made the session very clear. That's why there is no question from the chat box, sir. It's all appreciation. And one more question. This is from Shaila. What is the difference? What the difference we can assess tool is make for quantitative research? What the difference we can assess tools is make for quantitative research?
So she is asking, I think, we are using the tool in qualitative research. She is asking for the quantitative research, quantitative approach. No? Am I right?
Quantitative, right?
Yeah. You know, the quantitative research is completely connected with the tools. You know, as I mentioned, it is almost connected with the numerical data. Totally, we are using everything that we are using in the research, in the data collection or the analysis. Everything will come as a resource because it is completely linked with the numerical ideas and also the experimental things. So everything will come as a tool there. based on the research or research topic, right? Specifically, I cannot tell. These are the tools we can use for quantitative research, quantitative research, because quantitative research means using many materials or the many aspects as tools. Yeah, but when we go for a qualitative research, we can just list out these are the tools that we can use for data collection in qualitative research. But quantitative research is something different because it is numerical, it is science related, it is experimental ways. So everything, every point or every instrument we are using in quantitative research will be considered as a tool. So for example, if I want to tell you, you think about, for example, you think that I mentioned the economical related researchers, that is something we are using mixed method. We are focusing on qualitative and the quantitative. If we think about the quantitative method, economy related ideas, almost everything we are focusing on the statistical data, right? So when we analyze the statistical related data and how we are going to get the statistics from the sources, at the time, what are the techniques that we are using will be considered, everything will be considered as a tool, right? That is the one point, right? That maybe may differ person to person because the techniques can be differed person to person, right? So you get the point. Like qualitative approach or qualitative analysis, we cannot limit the research tools or quantitative research, because quantitative research is almost connected with many of the tools research. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And one more question is from Sony. What is panel data analysis? In which situations do we use panel data analysis?
Yeah, I can go the presentation. I think I mentioned about that. Okay, sorry. Okay, don't need. So she's asking panel data analysis, no?
Yes, sir. Panel data analysis.
So panel data analysis, like the qualitative research, when we involve with the ethnographical and the content analysis, the panel related data analysis are focusing on the group of people, right? So we are focusing people as common, but when we can use the panel data analysis, dividing the people in different groups, right? So grouping the people and collecting the data and doing the analysis, it can be considered as a panel data analysis. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your humble response. Ma'am?
We'll close, ma'am. We'll close it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sheila, continue,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir, for the thought-provoking session. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Now it's time for vote of thanks. I call upon Ms. Vinolia Jabarani, Faculty of Education, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Faculty of Education and the Academic Staff College, Dr.MGR Educational and Research Institute. I have taken this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. R. Vivekananda Rasa, sir, Lecturer, Department of Secondary and Tertiary Education, Faculty of Education, the Open University of Sri Lanka, for sharing his valuable knowledge and experience in opening up our minds on qualitative approach to research. Thank you so much for explaining in detail about the methods of collecting data, data analysis, and the tools, sir. Thank you, sir. Next,
Thank
I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Malini Pandey ma'am, Additional Registrar, Planning and Development, Dr. MGR ERI, for her words of wisdom. Thank you, ma'am. My sincere gratitude to our Honorable President, Engineer ACS Arun Kumar sir, for providing this wonderful opportunity. My heartfelt gratitude to all the executives of Dr. MGR ERI for the guidance and support. I'd like to express our sincere thanks to Dr. K. Geeta ma'am, Principal, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR ERI, for her enormous effort and support in organizing the event. I extend my gratitude to the staff and technical team for their efforts in making the event successful. Last but not the least, I thank all the HODs, professors, research scholars, and other participants from various universities and colleges for making this event a memorable one. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ms. Vinolia, for your gratitudinal notes. Thank you, everyone. Dear participants, attendance link is posted in the chat box. Kindly check. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
madam. Thank you so much.